Hi everybody, it's Kathy from Huckleberry Herbs and Art, and I'm going to make a card today using Heartfelt Creations Soar on Eagle's Wings. I'm going to use the Thinking of You sentiment and the Woodsy Wonderland. I love this collection. I'll be using this little fella right here on his stump, that tiny mouse. I think he's adorable. And I'll be using some of the little critters from the Woodsy Critters and some trees from the Woodsy Treescape, a distress watercolor cardstock, and some of my color box pigment inks and the new distress tool, which all of those items are actually in my store. If you'd like to pop over and visit, it's huckleberryherbs.com. How y'all doing? Okay, so I'm home on vacation and I wanted to play around with a few of my goodies, and I just love this collection. Heartfelt sent me some sample cards from the papers and the stamps and the dies. Isn't that beautiful? And this guy, he is so cute, that little skunk. There's the trees, the butterfly, the birds. I think they used leafy branch, and this is part of the collection too. I love the way they popped up the rocks with a get well soon card. But today I wanted to play around with watercolor. So let me zoom you in. So I'm going to be using the color box pigment ink because it does well for watercolor. This is the pastels, and I think I have both of these in the store. Here's the primary colors. We'll use a couple from each, and all I'm going to do right now is, with a rather thick brush, wet down my paper. This brush I'm not too happy with because it keeps leaving little things around. Okay, I'm just giving it, so this is just a wash. Now, I am not a watercolor pro. I'm a nothing pro. I just love dabbling in all kinds of things. So, if I mess up, please forgive. Alright, I'm going to take my darker blue ink and this medium blue ink and just put them on my workspace. And I think I'll take, well, I might need a little of this. Let me just turn you slightly so you can see. And I'm going to be going into the greens. So I think I'll go easy on the green here. A little of this green. And a little of this green. Alright. So, I just want to create some sky and ground. Those brush things are making me crazy. They're making me crazy. Yeah, so it's been so nice to be home on vacation. I have so enjoyed the time off. I'm going to mix it in with a little of this blue. And again, I don't need this much paint because I'm really just putting some tiny bit of background in here. But I do want to create a bit of a skyline. And I want it to go down into the green here. Let me just make sure I get my edges. I always do that. And so I'm going to start doing green right about here. But I'm going to leave the center space a bit open because I know that's where I'm going to be stamping. Alright. Maybe just a bit darker up here. And a little more of this blue. Just blend that in a bit. extra green on the edges here and down the bottom. And I might even take just a tissue or a paper towel and dry off that center just a bit, because I know I don't want that interfering with what I'm going to do next. Okay, I'm going to dry this and clean this up. All right, now, as you can see, completely imperfect. I've got these edges and everything, but I'm not so worried about that. I think it's going to be a nice little watercolor card. I'm going to ink up my stamp, which is the one with the mouse on it. Alright, and I'm using my Fiskars press here, which I'm sorry the light is in the way. And I'm just going to push that down. Try. Now watercolor paper is very textured, so a little harder to get a good image on watercolor paper, but we'll see. There it is. I'm happy. Okay. Alright, I did dry this really well because we're going to wet it again. And I don't want anything mixing and blending. So I'm going to take my dark green and this is from the primary, and my lime green, sort of. And I'm going to take a much smaller brush, a little bit of water. I'm going to start with the lime green. Really don't want it too wet. And I'm just going to touch inside here and put some of that down here. And the paints do act somewhat translucent, so even if I go over the edge, I'll still be able to see the black ink. And if I come back fast enough with the dark green while it's still wet, I might be able to do a little bit of shading. But I can always water it a little. Alright, and then get some of it in here. Go with the light color first. And I'm not even being perfect about where I'm touching here. Get these guys greened up. Yeah, that's working a little better because I added a little more water. That one's still a little too wet. Just going through here, give it some of the light color, and come back and add some of the darker color on the bottom. A little more water. See, I'm not an artist as far as watercolor knowledge. I just like to play. I'm gonna hold off on this center just for a moment. Let me get a little bit dark in now. Try to feather it out a bit. Just to give the impression of the grass. But I want most of the dark at the bottom of the grass. Alright, that's all I'm going to do with that for the moment. Because right now, I'm going to take my intense pencils and I'm going to color in my tree trunk, which, when it comes to intense, don't need too much color to have a lot of color. And I want to get the brown down in there, and this is why I stopped with the grasses. I'll come back and finish the grass underneath afterwards. But I want to get it down in there between the grasses a little. And then we have this front, which I'll come back and darken. And it's going to be dark in that hole. And I'll put some of the dark brown on the edge here. And a little extra down here. And a light amount there. And then some of the dark just scattered throughout here. And maybe on some of these lines where they have shading. And back in with my wet brush, which hopefully is not green. There we go. See, the intense pencils are great because you can get right where you want. And then afterwards I can come back in and put more shadowing in with that darker one. I just don't have a brown that I want to use in these two color boxes. But it's still watercolor. Alright, come around the edge. And again, I'm not being perfect here, just having fun. Missing some spots here and there makes it look more like a watercolor painting, which it is. It's just that we stamped first. Alright, now let that dry a little bit while I come in with maybe just a bit of this almost earth-toned color box. It's very pale, and out of this pastel kit they have a nice gray for our mouse. Alright, so some of this earth tone right in here. And again, I can come back with my brown afterwards. I just want to lay down some of the foreground and a bit of this more earthy color. Just dabs of it, just to give the sense of earth down here. Okay. And a little off to the side. And you see I'm going right over the previous color from the wash. Okay. Now, let me see if I can get our mouse done. And again, he won't be perfect, but he will have the indication of gray. And we should be able to see his eye again when it dries. And then some of the dark. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Just a dab. Let's see how much we can get of it. Of this pink. And with that pink, get a lot of color because I don't want to have to do this more than once, I think. And just put an indication of pink on the flowers down here. Not really noticeable, but you and I know they're there. Little pink petals. And of course I could use some of my darker violets or something for my ink tints, but I'll just keep it subtle. A little bit of pink on the petals. There we go. And not that anyone's gonna really notice, but just because I know a little pink in his ears. Okay, let me clean this up and back up. Okay, so now it's matted onto that blue cardstock, and I'm going to actually put it on to the card before I go any further. So let me put some glue on that. Right there. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to take, this is a box I covered with the Woodland Critters collection. See, there's the image. Yeah, I could do better at coloring that in, but I have all my little already colored and cut out guys in here. I've had such fun. I can't wait to use this piece with the flowers and the rocks, and at the moment I'm saving all those ones because I hope to come back. I want to do one of the fold out cards. I just felt like trying a little watercoloring today while I had a few seconds. So I have this tree image here, and I think what I'm going to do is snip it off right there. Alright, so these are part of the stamps and dies. I'm just going to create my own little skyline. I do want it to go a bit over the edge. Get it down there more in the green. And I'll put these two, actually I'll give it some more grass right here. And then afterwards I think I will come in with my pencil and add a little more green. So let me get those down. And these I'm going to leave flat. Oops, a little bit on the grass. Alright. I'll have to take it down a little further. Actually, I think it would be better if they're not completely even, right? And then this one. Just sort of create another level right here. Alright. And with my Inktense pencils, I can actually just give the idea of a little bit of landscape here. Put in some more of the green here. Just so it looks as though there's some hills and stuff in the background. And the sky blends in. And I'm not going to come back with watercolor on that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of a darker tone to create some shading here. And in here. There we go. So that gives it a little bit of the look of ground. And put some dimension pretty quickly and easily. Okay. Now, I have these critters. I'm going to put 2 of these small pop dots on this bunny. And I'm going to put the bunny right down here. Love it. Oh, it's so cute. And I'm going to put the squirrel on the other side. Now these I colored with my chameleon markers while I was watching TV with my husband. And then I stamped them and I colored them. And I cut them all out and put them into the little box I made. Which made me think that's what I need to do from now on, is create a small box for each collection, and I can keep all my pre-cut images. I have created, just cut it out, a little cloud, and I don't think I have this in the store, Distress Stain Broken China, but a lot of you have it. You could use the Color Box Blues, but this I do have in the store. It's my favorite new tool. I really like the circular shape, or I prefer it to the square shape. It's easier to get a nice blend. Just giving it a bit of color differentiates it. And I think I actually wanted to put it under the tree, but now that I've made the decision, it'll look like it's going behind the tree. I have started inking this one up, and I'm going to add to it a little. I have the Thinking of You from the Soar on Eagle's Wings from Heartfelt. Lovely collection of perfect sayings and psalms, and if you're looking for meaningful sentiments, they're all up on the site, and I'm really appreciative that Heartfelt came out with that. I think right about there, and some pop dots for that. Yes. Let me see the other side. Yeah, right there. There we go. And I also have these little birdies. And these came from the Woodland Critters too. I'll just tuck them on there. And the other guy on here. And they're automatically popped up. And I think I'll come in with my pencil and put a little bit more, a slight indication of ground to finish up this card. Here we go. Maybe some sequins, and before I do the final picture, some glitter. Yes. Okay, anyway, I just wanted to do a watercolor. I don't see too many people doing watercolors with Heartfelt Creations, but yes, it can be done, and they have beautiful images, and they go very well with the die cuts, and I love the little woodland critters. And wait till you see the next collection coming out too, because it's going to go very well with the woodland critters. Okay, I'll pop a finished picture up for you, but thanks for visiting me on my vacation. I hope everybody's doing well and had a great Christmas and everybody's healthy, and I'm really enjoying having some creative time and some peace and quiet. It's very, very appreciated. I'll be back. I want to do the fold-out cards and the beautiful lacy curved dies. Oh, they're so gorgeous. Till next time, everybody, this is Kathy from Huckleberry Herbs and Art. You can find most of these things in the store. Please go visit huckleberryherbs.com. God bless.